this edition of Buncombe Life. I'm out here at the Buncombe County Courthouse. You're going to love this edition because you're going to learn something, you're going to hear about history, and I think you'll be educated when you're done with this about what's going to happen in just a few months and what is actually taking place right now. Historically, for any of you who are from Buncombe County, you know that the Buncombe County Courthouse, you used to be able to come in the front doors. Well, you can't anymore. You have to go around through the side, through security. In the courthouse used to be all the county offices. No more. The last one is getting ready to move out, and that's this month in January. You're going to hear some great history from Otto DeBrule with the Registrar of Deeds. He's going to tell you what it was like back in the day. And if you'll notice, changes come in threes. The Board of Elections moved, the tax office has moved, and now the Registrar of Deeds is going to move to 35 Woodfin Street in January. That's what we're going to talk about today. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and I think you'll really like this edition of Buncombe Life. We've come inside the courthouse now because, you know, we're talking about the Register of Deeds, and like I said, things happen in threes. This is the third big move for Buncombe County. Register of Deeds, where I am right now inside the courthouse, they've been here forever, since the courthouse was built, but they're getting ready to move. I'm here with Robert DeBrule, Deputy Registrar of Deeds.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. He's going to take us on a tour of where they are now. This is great for history because you're going to move.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But you may, if you've never been here to the courthouse to see what the Register of Deeds does, sit back and check it out because he's going to show us. It's integral to what happens in your life and my life, and I think you'll find it really interesting. So, Robert, let's go.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we've come inside now to the front counter. Now, Robert, I think most people have probably been to the Register of Deeds for something.
Yes,
Either a birth certificate, a death certificate, a marriage license. But for those who haven't, tell me what happens here.
Well, the public comes in, and this is the vital records section, or as we call it, the front office.
Yeah.
People come in here if you're requesting a marriage certificate or a marriage license, a birth or death certificate. And what they do is you walk into this office, and one of the ladies that's seated back here in this area, they come up to the front window, they ask for what you need, and then their form slips that they give out, they ask you to come sit down here, fill them out, provide the information that's necessary, and then they come up and then they're able to look it up within our system there and certify it.
So now tell me, I wasn't actually born in Buncombe County. I was born in Transylvania County. Could I come to Buncombe County and get my birth certificate?
Traditionally, no. Traditionally,
Okay.
whatever county that you're born in, that's where your record is. You have to go to Transylvania County, or in this instance, Buncombe County. The state of North Carolina at this point is in the transition process of implementing a new statewide system where people, if they need to get a birth record, and let's say, for instance, they were born down in Wake County or Durham County, we can actually certify that actual copy here in Buncombe County and pull it up on the statewide database.
So that's coming.
That's coming. Not at the moment, but we are in transition in the process of implementing.
Well, now how about marriage? Is it the same way? For a marriage certificate, you have to go to the county where you were married to get that certificate?
No, ma'am. You can actually get a marriage certificate wherever, as long as it's in the state of North Carolina.
Anywhere across the state of North Carolina, you could come here and get your copy of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Death certificate's the same way?
Well, you wouldn't actually come and get your certificate here. You would actually come and apply for that certificate here, and then it goes in the statewide database for the marriage. Death certificate remains in the county of the deceased. So let's say you lived in, for instance, Graham or Swain counties in the west, but upon right before you died, you passed away at Mission or St. Joseph's Hospital, it would actually remain here in Buncombe County. So a lot of the funeral homes and people like that come in after that, and they come here and they request it here and then take it back to the county or wherever they're going to be doing.
A lot of folks have to get that for insurance purposes and other things. They need that. So if anybody at home has a question about death certificates, marriage certificates, birth certificates, they can call here and find out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What else happens here at this counter that we haven't covered?
As I've said, we keep the birth and death records on file here in a contained area, but we also, if you're a genealogist or someone that actually needs to come in and look up those records, we have a microfilm machine where genealogists and people like that come in. They can actually pull the books, look to see when the particular marriage took place, whenever the birth or death took place, and they can actually make copies of those also.
And you guys are open for that, for the public to come in and just look at that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's really neat. Yes. I didn't realize that. Okay, now you also do deeds and
yes, ma'am.
Other things that are kept back here. But like we're doing, what we're mainly talking about is this office, which has been here since the courthouse was built in 1927, is going to move. Yeah, move. But you will still have a front counter where you're going.
Yes, ma'am, we sure will.
But as we walk through this, I just want you at home to just look at the amount of stuff these folks are going to have to move. It's pretty substantial.
It is. It's going to be. It is definitely going to be
huge undertaking.
Yes, ma'am. It sure is.
While still doing the regular job daily that you have to do here.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a big deal. So we're going to go here now into the vault. Now remember, this is historical. You've been here since the beginning of the courthouse was built.
Yes, ma'am.
Into the vault where you do deeds, and I'll just get you to tell me.
Well, one thing before we go in there,
Sure.
if you are someone who's actually wanting to come and record a business name,
Yes.
what you would do, this is done right now at this office because both the recording sections and the vital records sections, meaning birth, death, those sort of vital records, are within the same area. When we move to and relocate to our new area, those will be separated out, and the actual, let's say you were coming in to record a business name, what you would do is instead of coming to the front office, you would come into our vault area over there, have one of the ladies check to see if that the name was available, then you fill it out, have it notarized, and bring it in here back to the front office to have it recorded.
Okay.
And then that's how you get a business name on file. Or if you were someone who has recently had a notary public class and you needed to be certified and take your oath, what you would do is come in here, you would pay your application fee and everything, and then you would go down to the last window and you would swear an oath on the book.
Business names. You guys do business names.
Yes, ma'am, we sure do.
That's something that not everybody at home probably knew.
Sure do.
So come on, let's check this out.
All right.
We've come into the deed room or the record room, which it looked like a vault we were coming into. Is that really? It's a vault?
It really is a vault. The door. It's locked every evening whenever the last person leaves and secures all the books and records that we have on file here.
Well, I can certainly see why. There is so many books in this room. How far did they go back and what are they?
These are all the record books that we have in the county of Buncombe. They're deed of trust books, they're deed books, and we have them upstairs here and downstairs. I would say a total maybe of around 3,000 books. We not only have them that we actually house them here, we actually have an online system where we're able to have the images scanned where the public can come in, and that's where I'll show you in a moment, where public paralegals can come in and actually find the records. Instead of having to pull these books off the shelf, they can get it out of a computer system themselves.
But before, the computer system is relatively new.
Yes, ma'am,
So
it is.
for years, attorneys and paralegals and the citizens actually had to come into here, the deed room, and get somebody to help them.
Yes.
But actually pull these big books and look, and I want you to show me, when we go downstairs, we'll pull a book and show you that back in the day they were actually handwritten.
Yes, ma'am, they were. Very beautiful, but very, very difficult to decipher, especially now trying to scan and put everything in electronically.
Yeah, and what you'll see is they didn't talk like we do. They spoke more clearly and they wrote beautifully, and goodness, it's very, very different. But tell me now, for folks, and it hasn't been that long that I understood this, what is a deed of trust? What is it? What is a deed? Why would somebody need to come in here and look for something?
Well, when someone comes in here, it's their actual property. It has property description. It not only tells who the particular person who previously had the land was the grantor, but it also has, if for instance, if I sold you a piece of property, I would be the grantor and you would be the grantee, and it would both be on the same deed, and it would just tell within it that this is the piece of property that you sold, and also it would tell the exhibit, and it would, in the property description would start off at a certain point at this stake to this boundary, and it pretty much just describes the whole entire area.
Or exchange.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's probably pretty crucial for tax records.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. We do a lot of a lot of mingling between our department and the tax department, which I think when we move to the new area will come in very, very beneficial for both of us, because we'll be right across the hall from each other in the same area.
Yeah,
so.
And we'll show you that later. But yeah, that will be very convenient.
Yes.
And we're going to show you all these books, but we're also going to go downstairs. Tell me what's downstairs. And for the first time, and I've worked here a long time, I got to go down there the other day. I didn't even know that was there. What is down there?
Both floors pretty much contain the same amount of information, same areas. They're both considered the record room. If you're someone who comes in here, the majority of work that's done here is scanning images as far as these actual deeds that are going into our system, our computer system, which is by COT Systems, and they keep all the backup files and everything that we've actually scanned for them. And anything else, surveyors, people like that who are coming in to actually record plats, things like that actually show the physical description of the property itself are done in here. And we also have an area for, like I said, mentioned earlier, where the paralegals and public can come in, and they actually have an area where they can search those deeds online and print them out.
Two crucial things I just heard you say. One, back in the day, we had all these books, handwritten, many of them. This was the only copy.
Yes.
Need to be secured and locked down.
Yes.
Today, it still needs to be secured, but you have a backup.
Yes, we do.
Copy off-site.
We actually have 2 or 3 different areas where files are backed up, not only in the archive system, but over here in the IT building, they have a backup computer system, and as well as our computer system through COT Systems in Ohio, they have a backup. And meaning that if something were to happen to the courthouse or happen to these records, we can actually take one of the county laptops, go in, and we can secure everything image that's ever been scanned in Buncombe County.
That's good to know.
And also, since we're going into this new electronic and computer age, in the past we've always been required to keep these deed books and deeds of trust on file. Once they're scanned into the system that we're currently a part of or associated with, we're not anymore required to keep these on the actual premise in the Registrar of Deeds office, unlike the birth and death records that are kept in the front office.
And they will go with you when you move.
They will go with us. The only areas of the only books that in the upstairs deed record room as well as the downstairs that will be coming with us are these 200 here, and these are the 200 oldest deed books that we have, and they have not fully been scanned in yet.
So they're going across the street.
So they will be in the new area with us, but we also like to keep all of our other records and books as close to our facility as possible, just because sometimes if an attorney or paralegal needs a property description and the image was not fully scanned in and it needs some minute detail, we can always go to our off-site area, pull that record for and actually do a real copy off our copier for them.
What I want you to see, we're going to go downstairs and we're going to get Robert to pull one of those old books. You just need to see this, how it was old and what it looked like, and some of those maps too that you have. Will you show us? Stay tuned.
There we go.
Baby goes right here.
I'm not sure where that goes.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
We can all be energy savers. Turn off lights. Use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Learn what you can do today at energy.gov/kids.
Okay, come downstairs, ask you to pull me some old books,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you have.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this one here, the handwriting is just beautiful. It's from 1920, and it looks just almost exactly like a deed today that would be fully typed.
Yes.
But it's got a lot of pretty handwriting. Then we went back and pulled this one. Tell us about this book here.
This book here is a particular deed of trust from 1883, actually, and you had mentioned how far back do some of our books go.
Yeah.
And I don't know as we have a specific date, especially because in the 1860s with the Civil War, I'm sure a lot of records were lost during that time period, but we do have books that do date back into the 1800s. And the difference between what the deeds looked like then versus now, as far as the structure of them, they're not that much different. They still begin at the top with the state of North Carolina, the particular county, which this is Buncombe, and then it goes into the actual particular details. Unlike the electronic copies that are now printed out today where they stop perfectly and it looks perfect, everyone back then utilized as much written space as they could. So for instance, this deed began at the very top of the page. It goes almost 3/4 to a little over down the page, and a second deed begins right there, right after, instead of beginning on the next page.
Every bit of space on this page, and it's handwritten. This is not a copy of the deed into a book. This is, they opened the book, took out probably a quill pen, and wrote it right here. That's the one.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And what else you said is it is very, very similar. I mean, this is 1883 to 1920, and the format is the same. If we opened up one that was 2010, the format is the same.
It's going to be the same. The only difference is going to be how it was placed in there.
Exactly.
This writing's a little bit bigger, like I said, with a pen like that, versus you can tell as the technology goes, it progresses through the years, it gets a little smaller. Then if you get into the typewriting age where people use typewriters predominantly, it would be typed actually onto the page that way instead of handwritten. And now, as you can see down here and upstairs, we have the public search area where everything is actually input electronically into the system.
And so they can just go on, actually from home, a lot of the times, go online and see this stuff.
Yes, you don't actually have to come into the Registrar of Deeds office to actually pull one of these copies. Now, these are considered to be official copies. If you come in here, if you go on to the actual Buncombe County website and go to our area, there is an online database that you can go in as a guest if you just wanted to see the actual description or a particular deed. It may say unofficial across with the seal, but you're seeing it. You're actually seeing the document as you would in our office.
And then if they wanted to get an official copy, they just come down and see you.
They just come in here.
Okay, and that's going to be the same when you move. Same procedure.
Yeah, nothing as far, the location's changing as far as our services and everything we provide, that's not.
Exactly. Now tell me this, I see how much space you have here, which is, for what you have, really not that much space. Is it going to be similar space across the street?
It will be. The new facility, of course, won't be our historic, beautiful courthouse that we have here with the beautiful tiled floors and everything. It will be a more modernized facility, but it's also going to be much more modernized. It's going, the front office, as upstairs where we first saw, it will be similar to that. You'll have a main front window counter area. You will have a record room, just like here, except we'll be on one floor instead of two different floors separated.
Right. And I'm sure security will be there.
Security will be there, and hopefully that won't be needed, but it will be there.
Of course, we have to be secure.
The only difference between the new area and this area is we're going to actually kind of separate some of the areas. So upstairs, that was actually where a lot of the deeds are taken in, they're scanned. The scanning and what's done down here, the key verifying and indexing, which means these ladies that do this down here, it's one of the most critical jobs in parts of the office. They actually are the ones who go through and they verify all the information, that the names are correct, the dates are correct, everything like that. So once it's in the system and is in the state, it's actual.
That is crucial.
It's crucial.
Yeah.
And it's one of the, honestly, probably the most important position in the office.
And those ladies are down here now.
And they're down here now. They will be combined with some of the scanning that's done upstairs in the record room in their own area over there.
Right.
And the front office right now houses the vital records, which is our births and deaths, as well as the recording area. The recording and the record room, the recording will be done with inside the record room over at the new area, the new space. So those two areas will kind of be combined, and vital records will be its own entity over there.
Kind of more of a flow.
Yes.
Okay. That moving from the 1920s to 2011, when you actually get there,
yes, ma'am,
that's pretty amazing.
It is.
Now, we want to see some of these plats, too, because y'all also house plats, which is the official survey drawing of subdivisions and buildings and what else?
We do. Everyone, the plats are actually just a large printout of what the actual property or subdivision or whatever it would be is. These records that we have right here on file are actually tax maps, and these are the old tax maps of Buncombe County. We're not required by law to actually keep these on file, but Mr. DeBroyle does that to help the paralegals, just because they like to pull a lot of the old records, just because of the actual ability to physically see these instead of an online scanned image.
So you have so today these are old, but the new ones coming in today are actually scanned in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what we've done, because you can, as you can tell with some of these old ones, we are currently in the process of actually trying to laminate the majority of them, preserve them, because as you can tell, they're really old, and sometimes we don't necessarily all the time get people that need to come in and need them, but occasionally we will need, and so we're in the process of laminating these to preserve them as best we can for the time being. As I said earlier, in the upstairs record room, when a surveyor or someone comes in to actually record a plat, what they'll do is they'll take it to one of the ladies. They'll actually give it a book and page number, just like what you would a deed or a deed of trust, and you come in here if you wanted to pull up an image, just a small 8.5 by 11 or 14 image of it on here, you can print that out for 25 cents and get a copy of the plat. Or if you want an actual full-size image, it's $1.50.
Yeah. So any of our folks at home who own property in Buncombe County, that property is probably got to be on a recorded plat.
Yes.
In the plat book and page here in the Register of Deeds.
Yes. You can find just about any information that you want of a particular piece of property that would you like, because it's public record.
Public record.
If you want to come in and you can look up the tax map, identity of it, the value appraisal of what it is, the square footage and acreage of the building, of the property, you can find all that out here.
Yeah. Did you know that? That's kind of cool. So you're probably here too. Well, thank you for showing us all this stuff. This is amazing.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that we haven't talked about that the Register of Deeds does, or anything different you're going to do over there that you don't do here?
Other than the new statewide database that we're potentially, the state has implemented, but Buncombe County is not, we've not taken and gone live with the system yet with the birth records. We're going to continue to be providing the same services that we always have for the county, maintaining the vital records as well as the land and tax records for the county.
Cool. Well, I think it's great. And as you can see, they have a lot to move. Y'all have a lot of work ahead.
Yes.
Probably by the time the folks at home are watching this, you may already be moved into your new location.
Yes.
We're thinking mid-January,
Yeah.
so we hope you're watching this in January. If you're looking for the Register of Deeds and they're not in the courthouse, you know, because you've watched the show, they're at 35 Woodfin Street now.
Yes, ma'am.
And we were trying to get the word out, so I would say, now that you know, come visit them, check them out in their new location. I'm sure you'd be happy to see people.
Anytime.
And to call and ask questions if
Yes.
you have any questions of anything we've covered today.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah. That's it.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
24,000 children die every day from preventable causes. My name is Liam Neeson, and I believe that number should be 0.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups and so always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
I am here in the office of the Registrar of Deeds, who is Otto DeBroyle. He is elected, and he's been here for
32 years.
32 years as the Registrar of Deeds. I'm also here with Joanne Morgan, who's also been here for
32 years.
as the assistant Register of Deeds. And that is so cool. I've worked with them my entire career here with the county, and it has truly been a pleasure. I just want both of you to know that. It has been wonderful. They aren't going anywhere. He's still the Register of Deeds. You're still the assistant Register of Deeds. But I want to get some history. I want you to know what's kind of going on here in the courthouse, because the Register of Deeds auto has always been in a courthouse, whether it was the old one that was out here on the front lawn or this one since 1927. The Registrar of Deeds office has always been elected.
That's correct.
Always been in the courthouse.
Yes, ma'am.
That's going to change. They're moving. And before we talk about history, because I want you guys to tell me some stories about what's going on here, I want to get your thoughts about that, because I think it's really, really cool that you're gonna move. Things change. And we've talked about the Board of Elections has moved, the tax office has moved out of this building, there's big construction going on, and now you guys are undertaking a huge move across the street to 35 Bluefin Street. What do you think about that? What made you decide to do that?
Well, I try not to think about it. Well, there's been several studies going on to make some adjustments for the court system. As you know, it grows like everything else, the population, whatever, and it's gotten to, and I realize it from the time I've been here, that it's been a space problem.
Now that's a good, what are some of the changes that you've seen? Because this is kind of the end of all those changes is actually it's changed so much that y'all are actually going to have to move out.
Yeah.
But 32 years ago, there was a lot of stuff in the courthouse that wasn't
just a few years prior to that, the health department was here in this building.
That's right.
The welfare department, you know, the Buncombe County Credit Union was on the 3rd floor.
Wow. The Board of Education was here.
Yeah, Board of Education was here on, what, the 10th floor?
Yeah.
10th floor, I believe it was. There's been a lot of changes, but the court system just got to where, you know, it's just a real problem. And of course, we had some people, and I have some, you know, feelings of, you know, losing something by moving out of the courthouse, but yet I know this for the public good.
That's right.
At some point, if not this year, next year, whatever it has to happen. And you know, it'd be terribly expensive to go out and build a new court system. We're going to have to add on to this building, but I think it's something that, you know, some other officials in the building is not nearly as calm with the design.
Yeah. But it's modern. It's modernizing. You put all your records. We've just heard you know about you modernizing your records, and now this is a move to better help the public to get them in and out. And
when I came here in 78, all the indexes were still being handwritten.
In 1978, they were still handwritten.
1978, they were still being handwritten. And the deeds and things that were recorded was having been taken to a copy machine, page by page, and photograph that, or Xerox, or print that instrument, whether it's 1 page or 20 pages. If it was for a transfer of real estate, tax department then would have to come when I got ready for them that day's work, ever transfer copy before we put it in the book. And we put it in the books with pre-printed paper with holes punched to high-priced paper and everything. We did not have but 3 typewriters, manual typewriters, in the entire office when I came here.
So that's been, in 30 years, we've gone from manual typewriters to personal computers.
Yeah.
That's 30 years is really not a long time.
We also did not have a cash register. We had a metal toolbox that we made change out of on the counter, and hand wrote every receipt.
Out of a metal toolbox. Out of a toolbox.
Yeah, we had hand wrote receipts out of a carbon to each recording and so on and so forth. And but it was in an old metal toolbox. And for copy money, we're just taking in 25 cents for a page or something. We had it in a cigar box right beside the toolbox. And hand wrote every receipt.
I think things have changed. Now, Joanne, do you think of anything that's changed like that? That's pretty big, a toolbox and a cigar box, too.
Then we went to stripping, typing out a strip and pull the strip off and put it in the proper place in the big volumes of books. It's been quite a change.
It has been.
We was one of the first counties, I guess, in this area to go to electronic imaging.
You were, absolutely.
That's beyond microfilming. Of course, we used to microfilm all the records also in-house. Then we farmed it out, and now we in-house instruments are put on record.
And it actually goes to the computer, and people can see it at home.
Yeah, you can actually go on the internet and view it, usually within a half hour from the time it's recorded.
Wow. No, I didn't know that.
It used to take, the statute, when I came in here, gave the Registrar of Deeds 30 days to have it on permanent index. 30 days.
30 days. And now you're saying the same day you can...
Oh, it's on, usually within an hour.
Within an hour.
Because when we take it in, they put the first grantor in the index and scan it usually within about an hour, wouldn't you say?
One of the things that Otto has been very excited about and has worked very hard to develop was all of our indexes from 1925 forward, everything is on the internet, accessible by the public. There's no fee for accessing that information. Lots of registers have access to that information, but they charge a fee. And Mr. DeBrule opted not to do that because of the service and that it is a public record. But he also has been very concerned about the genealogists in Buncombe County that want to find information. And so he's established a program that is now running where we are upgrading our access to these old records. And this is a massive job because they're handwritten and some of the data is very difficult. And we have a staff that's working very hard to reproduce those images so that they will be online. And it's a tedious thing, but when it is completed, with the help of COT systems, we will have a wonderful record for genealogists and for history.
And right there at somebody's fingertips at a computer.
Absolutely.
Now, one thing that we saw downstairs, they were showing us some books that were handwritten, where the deed's in 1883, and they actually opened the book and wrote the deed.
Yeah.
Things moved a lot slower.
Actually, the Registrar of Deeds had to transcribe the deed that was brought in the book.
So that's what happened. So a deed came in, and the Registrar of Deeds
wrote it. Handwriting.
It was.
It was the deputy Registrar of Deeds that took it and laid it down, and they didn't have no copy machine.
Oh no, no. But things moved so much slower.
Oh,
they had to.
That's the reason you needed 30 days to have it on permanent index.
That's exactly right. Where today, you bring it in an hour, it's out there.
Oh well.
And the volume, of course, with the economy.
Lawyers too.
Oh, that's true.
The volume right now is considerably low, but previous years, in December of 2007, when we closed out the end of the year, we were taking in $30,000 and $40,000 a day in revenue.
That was our booming period.
Right.
Yeah.
For records that were recorded and documents and plats and things like that. So we've seen a great up and down. He has seen the economy affect the way things are up and down over the years. The courthouse, one of the most awesome things that I've seen about the courthouse has been the painting of the ceiling in the lobby by the students with, I think, A.B. Tech.
It was.
When the commissioners authorized the
restoration.
And it was absolutely a masterpiece to see those students laying on their backs for months, hand painting each one of those beautiful ceiling tiles. And that has been one of the things that has struck me so much. The other thing is the absence of the 11th of the floors above where the jail is. That space is there, and it's been an area that has been a concern, I think, for this board, particularly with space not usable. And with this new life tower, it's going to make that space available.
That's right. Open up a lot of space. And I think it's interesting, like we said, the Board of Education used to be here, the Department of Health used to be here. When I came, commissioners, purchasing, human resources, finance was all up on the second floor. We were all here in one building all together. But slowly, We've all had to move out, pushed by the courts and the demand on that system. So it's like you guys are one of the last ones that are being edged out and pushed out to go, but all with progress, because the people that come to see you in a month when you're over there will come in, see great service, and go, you mean they haven't always been here? Because it'll be all smooth. So it's all just historical perspective. I think it's great that you're willing to move and do that.
Well, the county's been awfully good to me, the county manager, the county commissioners, and they've made adequate provisions as the statute requires, and I couldn't ask for any better treatment. And I felt like, why my little bit of inconvenience for moving, I couldn't raise the issue with that.
Yeah.
Because I understand where they're coming from,
That's
and
right.
I understand the problem they have, and I understand the shortfall in money, plus the expansion of room that's needed, and
That's right.
I'm just not going to. I give them my blessings and my thanks for, because this is not just because I'm here, but this is the best office in this county.
I think y'all are great.
It's
and
the only one I
you
think
too,
that makes a profit.
Yes, you do. That's right. And consistently
And I don't have to
so.
lock anybody up or fine nobody or put nobody in jail.
That's right.
I mean, it's
That's right. But
and
you do
get
a
to
great
help
service.
a lot of people, so
Yeah.
it's
One of the things that
very
Otto's been
rewarding.
conscious about this move is that it's going to make available folks that need to get a death certificate. They'll be able to enter a handicapped space without having to worry about coming through the security or going through the elevator and waiting. He's been conscious about that, the handicap access of that facility. He's been conscious of the fact that it will be on one level. We won't have the lower and upper record rooms where folks will have to go up and down the stairs. And I think you've had very little opposition from the lawyers and the paralegals that use this facility.
I've had practically none.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful facility. We're going to show the folks at home what it looks like. By the time they see this, you'll probably be there or almost there in your new space, right across from the tax department. I think it'll be just beautiful.
Well, we appreciate you giving us this opportunity to share this with the folks and let them know that we're looking forward to seeing them in 2011 in the new facility. Do you have a name for it?
No, but coming in the spring of 2011, I have heard there will be a name on that building. So the folks at home need to stay tuned for that.
Don't name it the Auto.
You never know.
No, don't name it the Auto.
I just want to thank both of you, though. It's been
Nobody
a pleasure.
understand what that was.
It's been a pleasure serving with you guys. You're two great public servants. And I just want to thank you for doing the job that you do. And you at home, stay tuned. We are not done yet. We've got some more, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed this time with us here on Buncombe Life. I've come across the street from the courthouse and our little visit with the Registrar of Deeds as they prepare to move. After 80 years of doing business in the courthouse, they're moving. And they're going to come across the street just like I have. They're going to be over here at 35 Woodfin Street. That's the old, to all of us that have lived here forever, that's the Buncombe County Health Center. Although it's not anymore, like you've heard me say many times. Now it's got the tax office, it's got the Board of Elections, and soon to have the Registrar of Deeds. They're going to move here. When you come to visit them from now on, you can park behind me in the county's parking deck, which is great. Costs you $1 an hour, maximum $8 if you want to stay all day. It's a deal. Or you can park for free in the front of the old health center, now 35 Woodfin Street. Come right up the front steps and right in. As you enter, you'll find the Registrar of Deeds on your left, Tax and Board of Elections on your right. Very, very convenient for you. We hope you've enjoyed this visit, but we also want you to stay tuned because next month we'll take another little visit back over here, give you a sneak peek of their new quarters as they've moved in. Because if you're watching this in January, the Registrar of Deeds may still be in the courthouse, or they may be here. If you're going to visit them, give them a call first to make sure before you come out. But visit us, sit down and watch us next month because we'll be visiting Waste Pro. We'll be talking about a little update on them. You know, they've been here for a year now picking up our garbage. They've got a new headquarters. It's fabulous looking. We want to show it to you. And we're going to talk about recycling because some of our local recycling centers have closed down. There's new places for you to recycle and we're going to visit those. So make sure you stay tuned. And we love it to hear from you here at Buncombe Life. If there's anything new you'd like to see this year as we come into 2011, just give us a call, email us, and let us know. Thanks for joining us.